Well, if you're going RVing in Canada, we're welcoming back in some cold air. 1 degree for Regina for your Thursday afternoon, only -5 in Edmonton. And into Calgary, 0 with a few snow flurries. As we get down towards the south, we're looking at milder temperatures, and we are seeing dry conditions in the desert southwest. Maybe you're RVing in Arizona. If you're on the east coast, it's going to be fairly calm. 2 degrees for Hamilton. We're looking at some snow flurries lingering through the better part of Ontario. Well, if you're going RVing in Canada, we're welcoming back in some cold air. 1 degree for Regina for your Thursday afternoon, only -5 in Edmonton. And into Calgary, 0 with a few snow flurries. As we get down towards the south, we're looking at milder temperatures, and we are seeing dry conditions in the desert southwest. Maybe you're RVing in Arizona. If you're on the east coast, it's going to be fairly calm. 2 degrees for Hamilton. We're looking at some snow flurries lingering through the better part of Ontario. And it looks absolutely gorgeous. Snorkeling, palm trees, all the above. If you're headed to Cancun, Mexico, expect 30 degrees for your Thursday with partly cloudy skies. Have a good time. Certainly desirable this time of year as we get into spring. That doesn't really feel like spring. 29 degrees for Punta Cana, not a cloud in the sky. Have a great time. Alberta, some big fat fluffy flakes. But you know what? No one really cares at this time of year. I think we're done with winter. Zach, maybe you agree. Thanks for sending in that footage. Doug Gillum, you always, we love having you on set here and talk a little bit about what's to come, but I don't know if we really want to hear what you have to say.
I'm afraid not. I'm just the messenger.
That's
and I love to bring good news, but unless you want to keep skiing into spring, I don't think I have a lot of good news.
All right. Now, what did you say earlier? Just to summarize, this is kind of a fun play on words. Say it for the viewers.
Just to summarize, we're going to fall back into a wintry pattern for the first week of spring.
And you got all 4 seasons in there. And you know what? A lot of areas are almost seeing temperatures with all 4 seasons. We've had rain, ice pellets, snow, mild conditions, cold conditions. Let's talk about what's going on. There's our current systems map that shows the system in Ontario, also the Clipper that's moving through the prairies. This one's departing, but yeah, it brought a lot of different types of weather conditions.
Right, and it's going to continue to do that through the night and be quite a winter storm for parts of eastern Ontario, northeastern Ontario, into southern Quebec tonight, moving into the maritime provinces for Thursday and Newfoundland for Friday. And we also have another storm system in Alberta, and that's going to be a big story for the rest of the week into the weekend for central and eastern Canada.
Another shot of snow, possibly.
Unfortunately, that's their case. It will be on Friday, located in the upper Great Lakes region, and during Friday night, that'll cross southern Ontario. A real close call in the GTA, where we expect rain down in Niagara and a swath of snow just north of the 401, including parts of the GTA up into cottage country, and likely a mix along parts of the 401 corridor along the QEW Friday night. And then Saturday, it tracks into the Maritimes.
And we clear out, but then we notice this word frigid.
Yes.
I mean, really, let's talk about this. Tomorrow's the first day of spring, supposed to be at 12:57 Eastern Daylight Time. That's when we get approximately 12 hours of equal daylight and equal darkness, but most locations will be at or below seasonal.
Right. A lot of places will have nicer weather for the last day of winter than they will on the first day of spring, and unfortunately, the long-range pattern gets even colder as we go into spring.
And we don't like the sight of this. Look at this Wednesday, Thursday, this purple.
Right.
Now these temperatures are just slightly above the surface, but it's indicating a very cold trend right into the weekend, coast to coast.
Yes, several shots of Arctic air will be moving first into the western prairies, then the eastern prairies, progressing all the way to Atlantic Canada. Much of next week, we're going to see temperatures well below seasonal over a large part of Canada. Let's take a look at the temperature anomalies for the first 5 days of spring.
And there
those temperatures, the coldest air where we've seen the coldest temperatures so far this winter, through the whole winter, over the eastern prairies and all the way into parts of Ontario and Quebec. These temperatures are a good 10, or a bad 10 to 15 degrees below seasonal. That's over the average over a 5-day period, so individual days could be even colder than that.
I think that deserves a little sad face. Okay, I just had to do a little drawing. Now we look at April. Do we have any hope? I mean, what are we seeing? I know you've looked at models even as far as May, but we don't even want to go there today. Okay, let's talk about April. This is certainly a little bit below seasonal.
Right. Well, the good news is winter is fighting a losing battle. The days are getting longer, the sun angle is getting higher, temperatures will be getting warmer, but we really don't see any major change in the overall pattern, meaning that we're really not going to see extended periods of temperatures above seasonal. In fact, the month of April as a whole looks cold for much of the prairies into eastern Canada. There certainly will be stretches of nice seasonal, even above seasonal days, but overall the cold days are going to outnumber the mild days.
That's not good. I said to Doug earlier, we live in Ontario. I'd be happy with just about +2 or 3 just for a month. I'd be happy with that. Thanks for your analysis, Doug. Stay with us. Well, if you're going RVing in Canada, we're welcoming back in some cold air. 1 degree for Regina for your Thursday afternoon, only -5 in Edmonton. And into Calgary, 0 with a few snow flurries. As we get down towards the south, we're looking at milder temperatures, and we are seeing dry conditions in the desert southwest. Maybe you're RVing in Arizona. If you're on the east coast, it's going through the better part of Ontario. Well, if you're going RVing in Canada, we're welcoming back in some cold air. 1 degree for Regina for your Thursday afternoon, only -5 in Edmonton. And into Calgary, 0 with a few snow flurries. As we get down towards the south, we're looking at milder temperatures, and we are seeing dry conditions in the desert southwest. Maybe you're RVing in Arizona. If you're on the east coast, it's going to be fairly calm. 2 degrees for Hamilton. We're looking at some snow flurries lingering through the better part of Ontario.